the Leroy Slava podcast. Conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. Now, if you enjoy these podcasts, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to receive updates of future podcasts. Episode 58. Welcome, guys. Today we're talking to Mentorshaune Baaitjies. She's a leadership coach and mentor, and she's also the acting CEO of Hockey Souh Africa. So today we're going to have a chat with her, find out how her business is going, and find out about hockey as well, because that's quite interesting. Shaun, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time. We know you're busy. And yeah, we were looking forward to this all week.
Don't worry, me too. It was so exciting. I thought, why me? And then I thought that maybe it should be me. It's time.
It must be you.
It's time.
Hey?
It's time, yeah.
And let me tell you why it must be. Let me read this, right? So Shaun has a BCom in industrial psychology and honors in industrial psychology. She has certificates in executive leadership. She's part of the Coaches and Mentors South Africa. That's Comensa. Maybe you can tell us more about what that is after this. Right, she's the director of the Eastern Gauteng Hockey, founder of the Real Crusaders Hockey Club, and she was the past treasurer of Ekurhuleni Sports Confederation. So she does a lot. So we're going to talk about the coaching and the mentor, why people need mentors and coaches, and then we're also going to touch on the hockey side. That's interesting, and how you got into hockey and why you have a passion for hockey.
Yes, so let me first just correct one thing on my CV that hasn't been updated, and that is that I'm no longer the president of Eastern Gauteng Hockey Association, and that's by virtue of the fact that I was appointed as the interim CEO for SA Hockey, and the conflict of interest that existed. So, yeah, but you know what? I'm still proudly Ekurhuleni.
Yeah, you're from here.
I am
From
proud.
Regenpark.
Yes, I am. Yeah, so Comensa is an association in South Africa that it's really an umbrella body for all mentors, formally recognized mentors and formally recognized coaches with certification.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so there's a process at Comensa which you do your certification whichever association you choose. However, they still, so you just become a member. But you can be accredited, but for that you have a certain amount of coaching hours you need to fulfill. And not only voluntary coaching hours, it has to be paid as well. And I think that's probably sometimes a problem for people that work in communities, because they're so used to giving without charging, but that won't be recognized.
So you have to charge.
You have to charge, even if it's 10 Rand, even if it's like an exchange. So Leroy can't afford to pay me my rates, but he can afford to advertise something on his website. But you need to get something from the person so that they understand the value of it. Yeah, because we know that
if it's free, there's no. I also believe you have to pay for it.
It's not of any value. People abuse free offerings. They appreciate what they pay for. It doesn't matter how much.
And you put in the effort if you've invested.
Yes, and that's exactly what coaching is. Coaching is not. It's easier for a person to tell you what coaching is not than what coaching is. So coaching is not psychology. It's not a therapy.
Is it not? Because you have done industrial psychology there, so you've got a bit of an advantage over other coaches.
Yes, so I understand. And it's then easier for me to identify that this person actually doesn't need coaching, they actually need psychological assistance, whether it be psychiatry or psychology. But it's easier for me to identify that and to refer. Because that's also part of what a coach has to do. You can't try and be a therapist for the person. You're there to help the person bring out a better version of himself. Okay. That is really the journey you take the individual on. So it differs from mentorship in the sense that mentorship, I am giving you input as to with regards to my personal experience. Coaching, I might not even have experienced your your feelings, your situation.
Wait, you're gonna have to simplify that for us. The difference between coaching, because I also coach, but I do property coaching, so I'll teach you a little bit about property. That's why I'm getting into maybe after this talk about how you get involved in the Comensa. So what's the difference between, firstly, what's the difference between coaching and mentorship, and why would someone need a coach or a mentor?
Okay. So mentorship, I've had a couple of mentors for different parts of my life. So if it is your business acumen that you want to improve, so I would like to be a director one day. The best person to mentor me would be a director. They've lived, they've experienced it, and they understand what it is like to be there. They will then mentor me into what I need to do to get to that point through their experiences. So I'll bring a issue, for example, I'm having difficulty with my employees. I'm a manager, I'm having difficulty with my employees. That mentor, similarly to a coach, but that mentor will say, okay, when I was in such a situation, this is what I did. This was my results. But it's not necessarily going to fit for you. So maybe you must read something, maybe you need to get more information, or your staff just don't respond to you. As a mentor, I will tell you what I did when that happened. As a coach...
But how often would a mentor meet now?
So
a mentor is when you need, but it's different. It depends on whether the mentor is someone you've paid for or someone who's just volunteering to mentor you. I think a volunteering would be as and when. Listen, I need help with this. How did you manage it when you were?
So for me, the paid mentor is often a coach, whereas the volunteer mentor is the one that I normally refer to. And that is the one that gives of their time, being that they're very busy, but it's also a relationship that's driven by you. You will dictate when and how often you need to see the mentor. The mentor might agree or disagree. Whereas if you're paying, the mentor then has to show up.
Once a month.
Yes.
Or
mentor relationships in the beginning, I would think, is maybe the first 2 months is every fortnight. One, so you can learn to understand and know the individual that you're working with both ways. Secondly, is really then to understand the person's life story and understand how they got to where they are, because really that's what you want to get from them. And then maybe week 3 and third and fourth session is where you start presenting the learning you want to get from this mentor. With regards to the coaches, you okay?
I'm fine, go for it. Go for it, I'm listening, I'm learning.
With regards to coaching, it's like going to a doctor. You present a particular situation, a problem you want to solve. So I want to become, same scenario, I want to become a director. And I, as the coach, will then understand where you're sitting now and what journey you need to travel to get there. I will help you put action plans in place, and I'll be your accountability partner. So, and you're going to pay me for it, but that will be the journey. It's not as frequent, because one needs to remember that person's actually got a job, they've got lives. And this is something that they need to work over a period of time, because coaching is not instant. It's not instant gratification. You can't say, I want to be MD tomorrow. How the dickens do you do that? Unless somebody chucks a whole lot of money on your lap and you then go into business for yourself, only then you're going to be an MD.
Or you're connected to someone.
Yes, but it's not by virtue of you working towards it in a disciplined fashion. And I think that's what coaching brings to that. There's a lot of reality checking. It's not the coach's journey, it's a coachee's journey.
And that's the thing. What a lot of people think, because I get a coach and I pay Shaun to coach me. Shaun has to do the work for me. So, or is it like hockey? You have the teams, and then you have the coach. So the coach doesn't go into the field. The coach stands.
Equips you.
The coach says, listen, he puts together a strategy, puts together a plan. You go in, you play. Half time, hockey has one half. It's like soccer.
We now have chuckers. We've got 4 quarters, 15 minutes a slot. So it's
hockey players that unfit, do they need so much time to rest?
Have you played hockey?
No,
I invite you.
I
invite you.
Soccer guys only need one half and then they play the
hockey.
They need too many breaks.
Yeah, they say if you're a sissy, play soccer. Hockey's not for sissies.
But hockey was dangerous. I never went. You know why I didn't go in? Sorry, we're jumping now. Because the stick, the ball, and it looks tough. And that ball hits you.
So you know what? Each sport has its own dangers. Yeah. Let's face it. Yeah. You can tear muscle even in a swimming pool. Yeah. So the fact that you can be in, yes, it is a contact sport. Yes, there is equipment that can protect you. So at a short corner, you'll see people have masks, a transparent mask, and that's to protect you from a ball that might deflect high. And you know what? As a shorty, there's no guarantee that that ball will go below your knee. There's lots of guarantees that it will probably go higher, especially at the international level. But yeah, so it's interesting. Can I go back to the coaching?
Yes.
So it's interesting that you use that analogy, and that is an analogy that I often use. In the sense that, what do you do with a striker? You want the striker to score. What do? You will give that striker all the skills. You will correct issues where they perhaps not, the body posture is not right, the strike is not right. So you will focus on correcting their inadequacies. Yeah. But you will do it in a nurturing way. You're not going to go around screaming at that person because they aren't able to score. Because then how effective are you?
Sometimes you say, listen.
No, we're not saying don't be, you got the skill, now use it. We're not saying don't do that. But it's when you can clearly see that there's a lack. And this person then needs the guidance to rectify those situations. Likewise, the coach will then give that individual the tools to help them get to where they want to go. And there's various models that one can use, like GROW is one of them. And part of that is you use a model that's relative to the individual you're coaching. That's how I do it. Other coaches build their business around specific coaching models, and I found that too restrictive. So I would, any coach, you first have a chemistry session. And that session's free, don't worry, you don't pay for the chemistry session.
Chemistry, that sounds serious.
It's chemistry. Is there chemistry between us? Can we work?
Yeah, because if we don't like each other,
I'm not going to give you the best.
Help me.
Yeah, and you're not going to open up to me.
Like and respect.
Yes, and you won't be able to really be honest. And therefore, one needs to allow that individual to say, thank you for seeing me, but I don't think you're the right person. Or I can say...
Is that difficult? Someone says, I don't actually like you.
Yeah. It will always be difficult. People don't like rejection. But you can sense that. And even before that person says, you don't like me, you can actually give them alternatives. I actually work with a couple of other coaches that complement my style. And, for example, if you are let's say you come through personal death experience in your family. I work with a person that does coaching in that space. I've worked with people that, as I would refer, I've worked with people that's in business, in corporate. I've worked with HR coaches, learning and development coaches. So it all depends how that chemistry session goes. And I must be big enough to say, we're actually not a fit. But here's alternatives.
Is this only so your coaching is mainly leadership?
Yes.
Someone who comes in and says, listen, I wanna improve myself, I wanna go from this level to this level, but I'm not sure how to get from point A to point B, and I need guidance, I need support. So
whilst I got my certification in executive leadership, I chose not to do executive leaders. I feel that I can add more value to to new leaders. And new leaders is somebody that, you know, obviously in corporate what they do is, wow, Leroy is an expert. He's done, you know what, his production is perfect. He needs to be a manager. And this person doesn't have the management acumen. They don't even...
Don't understand people.
No, they don't even have those things. So one would then take Leroy and help him understand the fundamentals. Yes, you can send them on a course. But sometimes sending people on a course versus helping them implement things is two different things. And that's where I would come in. I would help you implement that theory. How do you? When would you? Those are the type
in this situation, that's how you...
Yes, do role play with the person. Really help that person have the right tools. And technical knowledge is not always the right tools. It's part of it. But how to apply it is really the crux of it. And that, I think, is where a lot of us are shortchanged. You get all the theory, but you don't know how to put it in practice. The fact that there's industrial psych in my background naturally guided me.
Industrial psychology different to psychology? Industrial psychology is more in the workplace.
Yes.
And psychology is just...
But coaching is, you can't, and as a manager, look, I've been a manager in corporate for many years. The last company I worked at, the call center was about 180 people big. So you tend to work with people and have to understand people. But at the end of the day, if you're not guiding them correctly, how then do they deliver? And I got my technical knowledge through Baaitjies, but I got it after I had been a manager. So I'm a late graduate. I graduated my first degree about 9 years ago. So as an adult, I graduated, and I understand the difficulties of adult learning.
You probably understand it better than someone who started at 17 or 18, went into it. My sister did, Candace, she did industrial psychology, and she left. And then she went to BCom Communications.
So industrial psychology, you're focusing on business. You're focusing on building a better business. And in that, it's teams, how teams operate. The influences are external to the team and internal to the team. You need to help people understand individuals that make up the team. You look at strategy, you look at the different operation sectors within a business. So it is definitely more business, but like I was saying, I can't and I could never separate business from the person. The person doesn't leave the night that they didn't sleep at the gate and come into the office, and neither do they leave that irate client at the gate when they go home, because you're a person.
And every person is, I think maybe it's a nice thing, but maybe also a challenging thing, because every person is different. Every personality is different, so you can't have like a set. I'm not sure. You can't. For me, maybe for Justice, for Theodore, for yourself. We all have different personalities, so you have to assess. That's why it's quite difficult being a coach. Let me just tell you a funny story. So I do property coaching. So we've been buying properties and stuff. So I can show you how to buy, how to analyze, how to work with a bank, apply, analyze, run the numbers, teams, and I can give you that. But I was in one session and we're sitting in a coffee shop and this lady starts crying. Now I don't know. I can teach you about property. I don't know what to do if you cry.
Give her the tissue first. Let's start there. Give her the tissue.
Why are you crying? What's up? What's it? Emotional?
She's happy, or she could be sad. But
no, she was sad because she felt she wasted. It was an older lady. I think she was in the 50s or close. She was sad because she wasted so much time. And if she started earlier, she would have been at a different place. That was her. And anyway, I'm thinking, I don't know what to do. I'm not a very emotional.
Touchy-feely person.
But you're starting now.
But
it was
But you didn't
weird.
do the right thing. Your natural instinct. So people are natural nurturers as much as they're not touchy-feely. You need to be really stoned to see somebody cry and not feel something. I'm not saying that it's compassion, it's empathy, it's sympathy. I don't know what it is that you feel, but you will feel. and your natural instincts will kick in. I mean, if you see a little child that got hurt, what do you say? Sorry, you try and wipe it. You naturally do it. Who taught you to do that? No.
It's in you. God
yes,
put it in
exactly.
you. But it's weird if you...
Yes. So as a coach, I always walk around with tissues because, you never know. You actually don't know. And it's interesting when your statement about these different people, and therefore earlier on I said to you there are different coaching models, and because of that very fact, I don't stick to one. There's subtle changes, but there are specific things in each different model that is relevant to a particular person. So that's why I use those different models as my tools. And yes, I've got my own style, which is a combination of them, but sometimes you just need to stick to the basics. You don't need to be elaborate. And a chemistry session is very vital for that, to understand.
I think I need one.
Yeah.
We need to set up a chemistry session.
Definitely we can do that.
No, you know why? Because maybe you can help me, because I've been working alone for very long. So I'm so used to being alone, and now comes time when you need to start bringing people in to help you. And I'm so used to being alone and doing everything myself. Now working with people, and bringing in employees and things, it's not easy, because so I need to learn how to become a manager, which I've never been.
New manager.
A new manager, which I've never been, and I said, listen, you have to do, because you're so used to doing most of these things yourself. Now you need to delegate and explain and think about them even. And
what is delegation without proper responsibility? Are you going to abdicate? You know how to do it, but I don't. You just say, okay, now you need to contact the client. Okay, and then what? You know, so you know it, you don't even think, you can do it in your sleep. I would love to set up that chemistry session, and maybe just have one or two just coffee and understand where it is and what you want to do and where you want to go, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Welcome to the channel. My name is Leroy Slava. I'm the host of the Leroy Slava podcast. And this is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. So I want you to like, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you get notifications of future podcasts. Right? Share this, like this. We got amazing guests, guys. See you soon.
100%. Do you think everyone needs a coaching life or a mentor?
So coaching has an end date to an intervention. You can have multiple interventions in your life, but I can't coach you on one point for 6 years.
Forever. If you don't get it,
doesn't make sense. We will have different types of conversations as your life goes, and coaching can't be rigid in, we have an opening, we then speak about your week, we then speak about the homework you had. You can't be that rigid. You need to have a conversation, it needs to flow. Last week we said we're going to or the last session we said ABC, but when I speak to you the next time, and I touch base with you, I find out that ABC was not possible because life happened. And difficult.
You give all of this and someone just does not implement, or just does not do what you are advising them to do.
You know what, if it happens...
So you paid for this. If you're not doing it, you're wasting your own time and wasting your own money. Is that...
The reality, you actually the accountability person for that one. But it can't happen rigidly. So I told you that I graduated at last 9 years. I didn't want to say that age, but 9 years ago. But it took me a while to graduate. You know why? Life happened. 2008, I was at the Beijing Olympics, and it was, UNISA, and I love UNISA because that's where I got my qualifications from. But that particular year, I was struggling to get my books. My husband eventually brought the books to some other athletes that were coming through later, and in the village I got them. And when I opened up the textbook, it was a stats.
You got the textbooks from here to Baaitjies?
Yeah.
Why? Were you there for long?
I was the manager for the SA women's
And you
team.
were going to study while you...
I had 2 assignments while I was
okay.
there.
All right.
And I thought it was stats, and I'm thinking, what the dickens is this side? It was a sigma side. I'm thinking, on Excel, that's your total. You know, it looks like that, looks similar. And I actually had to write to Unisa and say, look, there's no way I'm going to do this first assignment because I'm lost. I don't know where to start. And I had to postpone the subject. But that was what happened. I was managing a national team, all the while I was trying to get a degree. Being a mother, being a businesswoman, being involved with sport, being, you know, everything. Why? So it was this, I sometimes say all the women in me is tired because there's so many different aspects to me.
So how do you stay motivated? How do you keep...
I coach myself.
How do you coach? Do you have a coach, by the way?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's important that you have a coach because at Comensa, what you do also is it's almost like a supervisor, and that supervisor will help you through difficult situations. So you can go to that supervisor or your coach, so they're 2 different people, or 2 different responsibilities. But you can go to that person and present your difficult client without breaching confidentiality. So you present the situation. Not it's Leroy, it's just this is the problem. This is what I'm thinking, am I on the right track? If I'm not on the right track, that coaching supervisor will then guide me. But for my personal development, because I believe in lifelong learning, I don't believe that you're too young or too old to learn. So I'm doing cognitive behavior therapy thing on the side. It's my own time. I haven't paid much attention, but it is still part of growing. So sometimes when I feel like, listen, I'm at a crossroad, I pick up the phone and maybe I have 2-3 sessions until I feel, okay, now I understand, I've got the tools, and thanks, bye-bye. And then I'll phone them maybe 3 months time, 6 months time.
I like that. You never stop learning. Student for life.
Yeah.
Even though you got the degrees and the certificates and the honors and whatever else was in there.
In the plan. So the plan was to be an industrial psychologist, to be practicing. However, I finished, I got my honors, was capped and all that, and I thought, okay, it's the time of the year. The earliest I can start doing masters is next year.
So you're going to go for the masters?
Well, that was then. And then I said, no, and the money. At that stage, look, I'm self-funded. So I done all my studies out of pocket. And I thought, no, I'll do it when I got money. So because I didn't want to sit and do nothing, I decided to do the executive leadership through UTC. And you know what? Having gone through the process, I realized that it's the next best thing to being a psychologist or industrial psychologist. However, it gave you other superpowers. Because when I coach a person, I'm not only coaching the business part of the person, I'm actually coaching the whole person.
So you would have an advantage over me.
Yes.
Probably I can show you how to do this and get a team and do this, but I can't. And I don't even want to. I'm even going into your mind and saying, why do you like this? Did your father leave home when you were young? And all those things that come.
So let me just correct it. I will coach the whole person. I won't go and try and resolve
deep
past trauma. Because maybe I'm not the right person to do it. Am I qualified to do it? Yes, I know a lot about the person and how they present, but strictly speaking, I'm not a psychologist, and if I can't, it's unethical of me to want to try and do that. And that's why I need to pick up those red flags and then refer them. I have 1 or 2 psychologists I would normally refer people to, simply because it will make more sense for them to be there and get the right assistance. And you know what? So what if somebody comes and say they've been raped? I don't have the skill to deal with that. I really don't. I can empathize. I can do all the right things to give that person the comfort that it's okay to open up. But I can also give them the comfort in knowing that they can go to somebody that can help them navigate that trauma, because I'm really not the best fit. I'm not a transitional coach. I can't take you through your I'm going on retirement. I'm not the best person for that. Because for me, I don't ever want to stop working.
Yes.
I just want to work differently. You see, so why do you want to retire? You're so young. You're only 62. Stop it. Get on working. Give back. There's ways you can give back to society without retiring. You can carry on until you're 70. You don't have to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can wake up at 10. You see, so I won't, like you, when you needed to take the tissue out, I'm going to tell the person, stop worrying about why you want to sit at home and what you're going to do and where the money's going to come from. Money will come, I'm not sure where it will come.
Interesting, eh? I started, I had a coach, property coach. I think it was about 8 to 10 years ago. And I mean, you know, we don't know about coaching. You go on this course and they say, no, get a coach. And they say, listen, they're talking about things I don't know about. So let me get a coach. And I got a coach. And the first thing he gave me was a wheel of life. Now this wheel of life has career, it has family, it has health, it has finances, what else? It has
religion or spirituality.
Yes, so there's a few things. And he says, I want you to, and all of these points are from 1 to 10. 10 being it's perfect, 1 being it's terrible. I want you to rate yourself on all of these things, and I'm thinking, this guy, rate myself. I'm here to learn about property and how to make money, and he says, but before we get into the properties thing, if one of these areas is not working, it's going to affect your productivity. If your family is not good, or your health is not good, you're sluggish, or you're tired and sick, maybe let's first look at how we can improve that, and then...
So he was a coach?
He was a coach.
Definitely a coach. So for me, because I'm trying to help shift your behavior, one of the things I would do is refer you, and I can't do psychometric testing, so I would refer you to a behavior type test, just to try and understand your natural tendency, what type of personality you would subscribe to. And that then helps me understand better how I must navigate this intervention with you. Because if you're somebody that just wants to speak and doesn't want to listen, then I need to find a way of making you listen. Because after all, that's what you're paying me for, is to help move that needle. But if I don't speak to you about the fact that you must just keep quiet and listen to the following things, and then you can speak for the rest of the session, and that's really what the session is. You're speaking, but I am giving you insights, inputs into how you could possibly change. You still must make the choice as to which of that you want to follow. And like we said, the homework, you might have a couple of tasks to do between sessions, but it's still up to you. And if you're having difficulty, yes, I'm available, but you need to own the process. And if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. But then we will short-circuit that relationship, because why then do you really need a coach? Maybe you need to go and sort out other things before you come and want to be a coach. And I earlier alluded to the different human in me. That's exactly what it is. There's different components within any person that needs attention. And when you don't give it attention, it comes and shows its head when you don't want it to. It definitely does. And it's always important to listen. Your body talks to you. Your mind, your soul, it talks to you when there's an area that needs attention. For me, I was neurotic with COVID. I was so neurotic. I was that person that wouldn't go to the shop. I was a person that would say hello. Even though they're family. Yes, everything.
No hugs, no.
And I had COVID. And it was bad. I was in hospital for 40 days.
That's long, eh?
I was discharged with oxygen. I stayed on oxygen for a long time. In fact, September last year was when the machine stopped. I didn't use it at night. So it really affected me.
Wow.
And laying in that hospital bed, I thought, goodness, am I really going to go back to a corporate job? Amongst other things, I then decided, what can I do? I want to coach. I want to be with people. I want to speak to people. I want to influence people, especially the younger group. I want to help them where I didn't have help as a business person. I'm going to call it a business person, not even a leader. And I then told my husband, listen, tell my boss I'm not coming back. And
So you're still in the hospital?
Yes, speaking through masks and all that.
40 days is a long time, eh?
Yeah, no, at least. I mean, I haven't seen my family in 40 days.
How do you feel? You think you weren't going to make it?
Well, yeah, I wasn't. I was in ICU for a while. I was probably a couple of hours away from getting a tube shoved down my throat.
Sure.
I was on, so if they say not, it's the mask that is not internal, but it's full blast. I mean, my cheeks were round. I'd lost over 25 to 30 Ks. It was really
You're such a lively
and I
person.
couldn't. So I can't play hockey anymore because my lungs are broken.
Quick question, I'm just curious. How's that feeling when you have never before when you think you might not come out of here? What goes through someone's mind? Seeing that we talk about coaching and psychology, what goes through someone's mind when they're so close to death? What do you think?
You know what, you just think, so I don't know what others think. I just felt that I wasn't ready. I really and truly was not ready. I felt I had so much more to give. And that was the conversations that I was having with God. You know what? If it is, and I wasn't bargaining with God, I was saying, you know what's best. If it's my time, then it's my time. But if it isn't my time, then show me what you want me to do. And in hospital, I was on antidepressants, and I said to them, but I'm not depressed. But you know how it is when they take somebody to a mental asylum. I'm not mad. That's when they lock you up and put you in straitjackets.
Yeah. But now, why would they give you that in hospital?
Because I was so anxious. I was really, really anxious.
For so long.
And my heart rate would go crazy. And then, besides being there for so long, I was really, I mean, I could physically literally not stand. They had to hold me. That's how weak I had become. And I used to get so anxious to the point that they used to have to help me breathe. Even though I had the mask on, you know, like trying to regulate my breathing because it went haywire. And with those conversations, I said, you know what, I teach people how to get out of anxiety. Not as part of my leadership coaching, but, well, it is actually part of the leadership coaching because that could be the reason, like that coach told you, that could be the reason keeping them from getting to the next step. Is speaking to them about the anxiety. So I know public speaking is a major problem for me, but I do it nonetheless because I've learned a skill on how to cope with it. I must tell you that before that, I have all the symptoms of major anxiety, dry mouth, I'm shivering, I'm feeling hot. But when I get up, you
start and then it goes.
Yeah. So when I was in those dips, after saying to God, listen, if it is that I'm going to be here, you then show me what I must do. And I literally coached myself through the process. There's a lot of scripture on anxiety. I was fortunate somebody many years ago gave me this.
Give us the scriptures.
The one, I don't know, so I don't know numbers. I'm not a numbers girl, but I can tell you the concept. So the one is cast your burdens to Jesus. And there's a song, and that song used to help me when they were breathing, helping me breathe, that song was in the back of my mind. So, and why am I fearing other things when I'm not fearing God? So
difficult to do, eh?
So yes.
You just said that.
Yes. And I needed to go through a process with myself. And it was every day for the last probably 20 days of my stay in hospital, because before that I was just too weak to do it. I was so weak I couldn't hold my Bible.
Sure.
I asked my husband, because then with this mask on I couldn't put my glasses on, couldn't read, and I locked myself out of my phone. So we were writing love letters. It was amazing.
Oh, that's cute.
It was love letters and
shame, how he was probably going through a lot as well.
Because like he couldn't understand why I wasn't phoning him. Meantime I couldn't. But I said to him, just bring the Bible and bring me this and that and that. And he brought me shampoo, but goodness, the shampoo was heavy. And it was just a normal bottle. I couldn't carry it. That's how weak I was. And I said, you know what is it that I would tell someone else that's presenting with this? And that's how I progressively worked on it. Yeah, when I came out of hospital, I still had those antidepressants. I went to my house doctor. I said, I'm not depressed, but they've given me this. So he says, okay, try this instead. Gave me anti-anxiety tablets, and I had it for a week, and I was fine. I stopped, and with the coaching, I was able to then come out of hospital and say to my boss, I was actually serious. A month later, I finished, and I had no idea where I was going to get an income from. 6-7 months later, when I was stronger and I was able to coach. In fact, a week before I went into hospital, I had a masterclass, online masterclass, and one of the giveaways was 3 free coaching sessions. I had to reach out to those people and say, guys, I can't, because it was about 4 people. It wasn't a big group, and I couldn't coach them because I was just so weak. But then come January, February last year, I was stronger, and I said, okay, let's get back on track. And then I only started coaching them.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. And then also by March, I decided, okay, now watching TV was not doing me any good.
Yeah.
Reading online was not doing me any good, and then I decided to launch my leadership company. And a month later, I was asked to help with SA Hockey, and I'm still helping out with SA Hockey. So life after COVID has actually been good. It makes you really wake up and smell the roses and say, guys, is this really what you want to do? Get up and go and make money for other people instead of making money for you. Because you know the story is like you spend 8 hours making money for someone else and not even an hour a day on yourself.
On something that some people enjoy it, some people don't.
Yes.
They actually say most people don't enjoy their jobs.
Yeah. Look, I'm enjoying this job.
How's the CEO? How's it being CEO of Hockey SA? What do you do? What does your day look like as a CEO?
So
I haven't met many CEOs yet.
Yeah, me too. So it is so obviously interim because it hasn't been advertised until earlier this year, well, about a month ago. So they're in the recruitment phase right now. But being a CEO of SA Hockey it's not a corporate, first of all. So you are actually a CEO, FYI.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
Oh,
Of your own.
I should put that on somewhere.
Yes. But it ranges, and I was saying to somebody the other day, because our organization is this small, you end up carrying stuff to the airport to give to a team before they leave. So if you saw in my booth earlier on, I've got players kit. That's to take to the airport when they come back from the one country and they go to the next country, because there's a couple of changes in the team. We ran a World Cup in early February, 12 men, 12 women teams. We had more than 3,000 bums in seats on the SA days. It was an awesome experience. So yes, while you know how to do eventing, now you've got an event of a magnitude that you actually just haven't thought about. You're dealing with media people, you're dealing with sponsors, you're dealing with international federations. So it then becomes, you need to just take your service level up that much. So yes, I come from a service industry and I understand what it is to give clients what they want. But now you're dealing with very influential people. I mean, I had the honor of presenting alongside the Minister of Sport at that event. So you are exposed to a completely different environment. So it's not only business side, but with sport, there's other nuances that one needs to also be aware of. I've got, in the office, I've got a finance lady, and I've got a travel desk, and then I've got a project manager. So it's 4 of us. And hockey is an amateur sport.
So there's not a professional league?
No. We had, for a period of about 3-4 years, once a year, you had what we had called PHL, and only there they would get a little stipend as a player. So it's not the rugby's, crickets of the world. No.
But is it growing? Do you think it could be a professional sport in a few years, or is there just not maybe, Or is there not enough funding going
There's not enough funding. Look, I mean, with the smaller sports, so we're not the top 5. And anything other than the top 5 battles to get finance.
Okay.
We battle to get sponsored. Yes, our members do pay fees. Sorry. They pay fees, but sponsorship coming in, it doesn't give them the same return yet. And that's what we're working with. We're working towards designing proper structures, or not proper, there are structures in place. I mustn't sell our sports short. We've got a lot of good structures in place. However, I think we need to do more of the commercial strategizing. And that incidentally is part of industrial side. So the strategy formation at the entity, which we're addressing at this point in time, is something that is essential in taking us to the next level. I mean, a lot of our national players are playing overseas. One, because they get paid.
Are they playing professional leagues?
Well, yeah, like in Holland, they get.
Australia.
Yeah, none of our
the
players.
big countries. I see it's Netherlands.
It's more in the Europes.
Yeah.
That's when also French. They play this couple in French leagues. There's quite a bit in the Dutch league. I don't know. Can't think of anybody that's gone to Australia to play work there. But they work as well as play, and their work is coaching. So there are coaches as well. I mean, this is now sports coaching, not soft coaching. So they would coach either at primary schools or in the club, the lower leagues. And yeah, it's interesting how they make a living just to play the sport. Whereas we know if it was a rugby player, he's going to get paid at the end of the day. I actually just saw something this morning where I think it's a women's rugby standalone game where they had close to 48 to 58,000 people in attendance. It was history being made. And that's besides the point. This is just the female side and the inequities that still exist in sport. It's not only in business that it exists. It exists in sport as well.
So in hockey, there's still more males playing hockey than females.
No, there's more females playing than males. There's more males in leadership than females.
Okay. Weird.
So yeah, whilst we have a plan at national level, we're encouraging provinces to have a similar plan. At national level, we encourage that for a female team, a women's team, that we are now bringing women into the coaching structure. For example, the under-21 team, they have basically an all-female management team. The coach, assistant coach, trainer, physio, all that staff is female. Whereas at our national level, we still have men in the setup. And you know, I mean, as much as I push the female agenda, it is still important to me that the right person does the job. So a female can't just go there because she's female. She must go there because
she's skills and qualifications.
Yes. So
did you coach hockey before you became there? Did you play? I'm guessing you played.
I played.
And then coached.
So my hockey career is. I was 12 years old when I started playing. By 14, I was an administrator. And as much as I played and umpired, I still always tended to end up with minutes and fixtures and getting umpires to fields. So that has always been part of me. And like I say, I was 14 years old.
You've been organized from a young age.
Yeah, if you know my mother, if you know Aunt Shirley, you'll know that you better be. So I've traveled a long journey with hockey, and hockey has been kind to me. Barring the States, I've seen the world with hockey because I was able to go to each continent with the hockey team. So I'm very grateful for what it's given me in the voluntary space. And never for 1 minute did I ever think that I would be paid by hockey. I always thought that I was going to give. And now it's my bread and butter.
That's nice, eh? Being paid from something that you
passionate about.
That you
So it doesn't feel like I'm going to work. So I can't really tell you how it feels because I go and do what my heart desires.
Tell me, Shaune, for the coaching, leadership. How do you decide how to charge? Before we close it off here, just people are saying, okay, I want to be a coach, but how do you know how to charge? Do you look at other people, how much they charge? You see, no, listen, for this improvement, that costs you make, I don't know, 100,000, a million, so I'll charge you 50,000. I don't know.
No.
How do you decide how to charge as a coach? Would you take your time?
There's a couple of ways, and one is to consider also all those factors. One is, who are you coaching? And that must help you. That must, pull on your heartstrings because you're a person first. And that is, you're using that type of skill. Secondly, yes, there is a going rate. So you need to consider what the market-related cost is for coaching. And you'd be naive to say, no, I can do it for 100 Rand. You spend an hour, yes, 45 minutes you could do, but you're just about getting warm. It's like a massage. A 30-minute massage doesn't work. An hour massage works. 45 minutes also doesn't work. So you're just getting into the crux of the matter and you need to stop. So you need to give sufficient time. And an hour is about what I would recommend, but I do 1.5 hour sessions as well. And it's structured. So it's not just there where we're talking rubbish for the first 45 minutes and then we're only getting to work. It is structured throughout the session. I always say to people, think about how much you pay at a doctor. And how much time do you spend at the doctor? And do you see what I'm saying? So you're spending much more time.
You should charge more than a doctor.
But you don't necessarily need to, because my qualification versus that of a doctor is very different. Do you see what I'm saying? And the risk associated with his job versus my job is also very different. So you need to do relative to the space you're in. I can't consciously say to somebody, I know you the top exec, and therefore because you can afford to pay it, I'm going to charge you triple my rates. I'm going to have a rate for you, which is not my entry rate. So I do have three ranges of rates. No, ranges of rates, plus probably 3 packages also, because the one is I'll do an hour with very little access to me during the session, between sessions, or I'll do an hour and a half with some access to me during the sessions, basically WhatsApps only, and then the others, my platinum rates is for people that can actually pick up the phone for a 5-minute chat on a particular problem that they're experiencing. Because it's just, you know what, I need to go buy a bottle of water, and I'm not sure which label to take. And then I can quickly say, okay, I've used XYZ, I believe that ABC is good, and quickly then we can get that out of the way without you having to try and keep it until our next session, because our next session could be 3 weeks away. And then it becomes burdensome to you because now you can't actually move because this thing's bugging you. So yes, so those are the 3 types of offerings I have.
Okay. Where do we get a hold of you? If you want coaching, someone says, listen, I need coaching, I need to go to the next level, I'm stuck, I need a mentor, I need a coach.
Okay. So the quick one is via my WhatsApp line. I have a dedicated WhatsApp line for coaching.
You can give us the number for that?
Yes, I can give you the number because it's business. It's 082-926-4919. And then my email address is shaun@sajgroup.coza.
And your website, beautiful website.
Yes, thank you.
What's your website address?
It's also SAJ Group.
SAJ Group.
.co.za.
Okay, there you have it, guys. You need coaching, mentorship, in leadership, in your business, your career. Contact Shaun. And for hockey, do they contact you? Maybe if you want to get if I've got a daughter that wants to play for South Africa and you want to get it in. No,
so for that, please go to your local organization,
Okay.
depending on where you're at. They'll give you clubs in the area, and they all have websites. But you could get their details on the SA Hockey website as well, sahockey.coza.
Sorry, I'm just thinking now how's hockey in the communities? in black and colored communities? Is it because I know where we come from, I was from Reger Park and we stayed in Gelukdal, there was never hockey.
So interesting.
We saw that at school here at Boksburg High.
Yeah, so interesting. Gelukdal has partnered with one of the existing hockey clubs. They have a couple of ladies, and I think the idea is to build it in Gelukdal. Reger Park, we're fortunate. We've got Margaret Baaitjies, who does the coaching in the community.
Okay.
Started with hockey in the community at junior level. April last year, it has grown. They have sessions every Saturday at Eastern High, from 9, 8 until 10. And it's open to all ages up to from 6 until 14. And she's there every Saturday. From a club perspective, we've got a club, Real Crusaders, named after my mom from way back when. And
where's the club?
Well, nowadays you don't have clubs based at a particular sort of building or structural facility, unless you've got an Astro. Now our club can't afford an Astro. We can't afford a 14 million rand just yet. We're still trying to get funds to pay affiliation fees. So from a club perspective, we've got girls from Reger Park, Vosloo, Gelukdal, even as far as Roodepoort. So we have an all-black team at the moment, ladies team. We started a men's team this year. So we're growing towards becoming I want to call a proper club that has different levels playing in different structures. So I'm very excited about the way we're going. And yeah, we'll service around the area. I mean, now 21 March we had a group from Vosloorus join us at Eastern High. We invited Eden Park, but they had some issues, so they couldn't attend. But we've also extended our hand to Wadville. So in the communities on the East Rand, there's at least 5 areas. Tembisa is also involved, Tequani, Kwatema. So it is happening. However, there's always a need for funding, always a need for support to help people understand business, because it's a business, a little business you're running. So yeah, that's where we're at with hockey.
Okay, awesome. Well done, eh?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was
must not be easy, but we need it. The communities need sport.
It's a passion.
Well done. Well done everything you've achieved. Thank you for joining us. It was nice chatting to you.
Thanks for having me.
And we've got a sponsor, Sean. We've got a sponsor for our podcast. So our sponsor, guys, is Property Pick.
Okay.
So Property Pick is an online investment property platform that connects property investors to investment opportunities. So if you are looking for an investment opportunity, guys, go to the website. It's on the screen, www.propertypick.co.za. You can find an investment opportunity. You can find tools, deal calculators, legal templates. There's a lot of tools on there to help you analyze a deal and to close a deal. And if you want to sell your property, you've got a property, you can load it onto the platform for free. We'll give you a call, one of our team members will give you a call, have a chat with you, find out how we can help you, whether you're an investor or a seller. So check out the website, subscribe as an investor, load your deals on there. You can load one property for free. If you load more than that, you have to pay for it. Okay? So subscribe and then you'll get a call from our team members. So it's Property Pick. It's fast becoming the #1 property investment platform in South Africa. So thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. And we're glad you're doing well after the 40 days.
Yeah, we're also glad we're doing well.
Praise the Lord. Okay, guys, see you next week. Like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. Okay? Our goal is to get to, what's our goal? To get to how many subscribers in the next few months? To get to 3,000. So the goal is to get to 3,000. So like, share, subscribe. This is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. So we had an entrepreneur and an expert here today in Sean Baaitjies. She gave us a lot of value and we appreciate that. God bless you. See you next week.
Property Pick is not a typical property listing platform. It is a property investment platform for first-time or seasoned investors looking for good investment properties in South Africa. Property Pick is also ideal for motivated sellers who want to sell their properties fast. Your first listing is absolutely 100% free. There is no catch. Join our community of property investors and sellers and let us help you along your journey. Go to www.propertypick.co.za and subscribe today.